President Cyril Ramaphosa says South Africa will continue to support efforts to find lasting peace in the Middle East. The confrontation between Israel and Iran has become more direct in recent months. On Tuesday last week, Iran launched some 200 ballistic missiles at Israel, its second direct attack after a missile and drone attack in April, in retaliation for a deadly Israeli airstrike on the Iranian consulate in Damascus. Israeli officials have vowed retaliation, but have not said when or what form this may take. To talk more on this matter, we are joined by Iran's cultural attaché in South Africa, Seyed Mostafa Daryabari, who is going to talk to us about the tensions between Iran and Israel. It's a pleasure to have you. Thanks very, very much for your time here on Morning Live.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
I'm so glad. World leaders are expressing deep concern over the deteriorating situation in the Middle East. What prompted Iran to move in this direction and actually take action?
Actually, it's come back to the self-defense that we have it after the killing of or the association of Ismail Haniyeh and many Iranians, also in both in Iran and Lebanon. You know that regarding the Ismail Haniyeh, the head of the Hamas, so it happened when he was our guest in our country, in our land. He was our guest, and he was attending in one of the very important programs there. But you see that they just attack us, these person, and he killed them. So we had a violation of the sovereignty and violation of the territorial integrity. So how dirty was that? And it is the job of the Zionist regime. So, but in reaction to this, that's because it's the inherent right for us to defend ourselves. So it's very lawful, and it is in full accordance with the Article 51 of the UN Charter, that you have the right for the self-defense. He was a human being, the Ismail Haniyeh, a respected person, an official guest for us. But instead, also they attacked many Iranians in Lebanon, and they also injured the ambassador of Iran in Lebanon. But in reaction to this, we didn't kill any person, we didn't kill the people, even we didn't attack their infrastructure, the social infrastructure or the economic. No. We didn't attack their electricity, their water, nothing. But they attacked their military and security bases. That's it. Why? So first, we didn't start it, and the second, it was a necessary reaction to them, because we are looking for the stability in that regime, but Israel has no intention for any peace and ceasefire there, and the only language that he can understand is a language of force.
Yeah. Let's have a look at what Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, had said on Friday. To quote, he said, "The resistance in the region will not back down." What is meant by this? Is this a threat that if there is any retaliation from Israel's side into Iran, this could lead to something much more dramatic?
You know, when it comes back to the resistance, as you mentioned, and the supreme leader of Iran has mentioned, resistance means you just, in word of resistance, you can understand that it is the defense. You want to react something about what they happen. It means that other group, other side, they attack you, and the essence of the resistance is defending yourself. And it's, as I mentioned, it's the inheritance right of every person. It's an international actually right. So as I mentioned, we shouldn't come down. We shouldn't back down regarding this issue, and no country will do this. No country will be when it will be attacked to say, okay, I will come back down. Why? because you attack their land, they attack their country, you kill their people, you just attack the public, what we say public places. If we go back to the resistant groups over there in the Middle East, you see that they destroy an entire place, an entire people of the Palestine, and it's never justified. I don't understand how we still interview, and there are more than 40,000 Palestinian people has been killed, and UN Secretary General called it as a hell on the earth. Look at this. So what those resistant group can do when they has been killed? According to Dr. Robert Pape at the University of Chicago in U.S., he mentions that the Israel is carrying out one of the most intensive civilian punishment campaign in history. 1,000 pound bomb and also 2,000 pound bombs, and also 5,000 pound bombs on only the building, the apartments, the refugee camps, the churches, the mosques, libraries, bookstore, school, hospital, universities, cemeteries. Look at these, how it happened. So reducing Gaza to 42 million tons of the rubble. For example, bombing one building and killing 100 people, including 50 children. It's make the resistant group and country not to back down. That's it. I think that international organizations should come back to their inheritance duty to just defend these resistant group and to condemn the Israel.
Yeah, let's. I mean, certainly there has been a lot of condemnation from the world community against, what is happening in Israel, but at the same time, what Israel is doing to the countries around, whether we talk about Palestine, whether we talk about Lebanon. But the reality, and we heard this yesterday, the 7th of October, the attacks that happened against Israelis, they say that this is in retaliation to that they will not rest until they have wiped out Hezbollah. They've killed the leader, the Secretary General. Obviously, there's planning behind the scenes for a succession plan there. There are hostages. The Israeli hostages are still being held in Gaza or somewhere. I suppose I don't think they would know at this point where the location is. Do you think they have a right to be doing what they're doing? Because this was an attack against Israelis as well, if we go back a year ago, that prompted all of this.
That's a very good question, because it comes back to the long story. You cannot shortcut the tension and conflict in between the Palestinians and the Israel regime to 1 year. It's come back to 5 years ago. They came there. They occupied the land. They started to kill the people, and they made people to go to the other country as a refugee. They went to the Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, many of these countries. So the people, Palestinian people, they are not in their land, and they have no clear future. So if we want to just look at this issue from that time, and they started to just come and take one city, second city, the third city, one province, two more, and now it's reached to just some cities has been remained for the Palestinian, the people of the land. That's the problem that we see in that regime. So coming back to the justice, observing the human right, and the genocide that Israel did as a terrorist regime with a brutal violation. So we can't say that through lots of these 75 years conflict, who is the occupier, who is the oppressor? That's very clear. Yeah. Who is the killer and who has been killed these years? So we shouldn't just make a shortcut and through the 5 years just come to the last year and say that okay, they should defend themselves. That's a self-defense.
Right. So you had one final question, and literally it's a one-word answer. Is Iran in favor of a regional ceasefire? Is peace something that you would like to see?
Yes, exactly. Iran always look for this ceasefire. Well, the will of Iran is from both sides to reach to a ceasefire, but this ceasefire should be somehow a balanced ceasefire, observing the right of the Palestinian. But as you know, the Zionist regime, we as Iran, we don't consider Israel as a state or as a country.
Okay.
They are the occupier. So, but you know that the Zionist regime, they are falling to have a war, dirty war. It's their job. The dirty war is their job. The dirty crime is their job. And they are going to just kill all the Palestinian people, not to have the name of the Palestinian people there. So as they did in the Palestine, Egypt, Syria, and Lebanon, they still have part of the Syria, which is the Golan. They have part of the Sinai desert from the Egypt. Look at this. Look at this. Not just that.
There's a lot more to it than just a ceasefire, is what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
So I have to leave. I have to wrap there. We need to get into our news. But thank you so much for your time, Seyed Mostafa Daryabari, who is Iran's cultural attaché in South Africa, speaking about the crisis in the Middle East.